Alright, what's up everyone? Welcome to the channel. So today, I have a story that I've been wanting to do for the last couple days. And hopefully I'm not too late on the story. But it's about two chefs. It has two big things going on, two topics. Cultural appropriation of food or cuisine, however you want to look at it. Second, hypocrisy. And those two subjects are big in this story. Let's just get into it real quick. Alright, so before we get started, I wanted to thank my new and old subscribers. We just hit one of my big goals, 500. Next one, another 500 for 1,000. I know, I've said this many times, and I know it's not an excuse, but it's the truth. I'm not very good at doing these regular uploads because I just, life, it just takes, I wish I had more time to devote to these, but I don't. So, I already read this story, and I already seen the story a couple times. I'm going to give you guys just basically the cliff notes of this story. There was an Australian chef that came to the United States, opened up a sushi style restaurant, but it was Australian sushi style in a sense, right? And, she did her TikTok, she did her whole, promotional thing. This guy right here, as you see, this chef obviously did not like this very much at all. That he ended up basically creating a campaign of hate against this, another fellow chef because he felt that she was a colonizer. Those were actual words that he called her on his TikTok, Instagram. It was actually on X, which is, formerly Twitter. That's when he started calling her a colonizer. And those are like big trigger words for certain people out there. And they took this and bombed her reviews on Google from whatever review she had to a 1-star review, all because of his followers, without knowing anything, just followed him and bombarded her with 1-star reviews, calling her a colonizer, misappropriation of the cuisine of, all the stuff, all the key things you hear all the time when stuff like this comes up. It's really, it's just copy paste type style thing. But she ended up having to delete all her stuff. Eventually one person that was smart enough digged into Chef Eric Rivera, into his, background, and found out that this guy, and this is where the hypocrisy comes, this guy was opening up Japanese style restaurants himself, but he's Puerto Rican, so he was opening up a fusion of Puerto Rican / Japanese style restaurants. I'm amazed how somebody that's doing the same exact thing that he is complaining about, how do these people have the balls? I don't understand. And second of all, his followers are the worst. You following this guy and you are bombarding someone that's doing the same thing that this guy you're following. Again, I'm going to say this like I always say, leave your comments below. Let me know what you think. That's the main story right now. I now wanted to open it up and kind of talk about it a little bit. Besides the hypocrisy, the whole thing about food or cuisine appropriation, cultural appropriation with cuisine. I don't understand how people feel that if you're not of a certain culture or heritage or nationality, you can't cook you can't cook that type of food or cuisine. The whole thing about food to me has always been one of those things that brings people, unites people. If you start looking at it as you can't cook this, you're basically I shouldn't be able to cook only Puerto Rican food because I'm Puerto Rican, or Caribbean food, whatever. And if you're French, you could only cook French food. If you are, that wouldn't be the dumbest thing. You would not get all these other types of food that we have created over these hundreds of years, a mix and match of different cuisines, and we're still doing that now. You know, it's one of those things. Food brings people together. People have different palates. People like the table with food. Always been one of those things that brings people together. All these people that are talking about cultural appropriation of like food and all this stuff, of you're dividing. You're doing the opposite of what food everybody eats. It's one of those things that always brings people together. But if you had this mindset, you're dividing. You're dividing cultures. You're dividing people. It's okay for cultures to mesh, and as long as it's done out of respect, and if it's done, I mean, if someone, the one time, or the only way I can see this going wrong is someone is actually doing this to disrespect the culture. And then, of course, I would be like, that's wrong. Look, I don't know much about either of these two chefs. So I'm just telling the story, and I'm talking about the story. And with this story that I have, it doesn't seem like she was being disrespectful. If anything, it seems like she was trying to be offering something different, more affordable than the high-end Japanese cuisine style sushi chefs that have, you know, trained for their whole life. They have a market for that. There's a people that go to that. And she was offering something different. That's kind of what it comes down to. For you to start saying that you can't do sushi because you're not Japanese, that's pretty effed up. You know, just following what this other chef, which is doing the same exact thing. I mean, leave your comments below. I'm more upset at the situation, the way people reacted to the whole thing. That's my whole take on this. I mean, you guys understand what I just said. My thoughts on this is that there shouldn't be no cultural appropriation with cuisine or food. Food is one of those things that, you know, I'm gonna just say it brings people together. It's not supposed to be meant to be divisive. So that's my take. You guys leave your comments below. If you feel differently, leave it below. Look, it is what it is. That's all I gotta say, man. Peace later.